I think one of the most phenomenal things for me, and I'll share this quick story with you. We traded him December of 1995 for Joe Nieuwendyk, and it wasn't an easy trade. It was a trade where we knew we were giving up a really good player, but we were getting a really good player for our team at that time
Mm-hmm.
that needed what Joe Nieuwendyk brought, and Joe was fantastic. But I phoned Jarome. He was at the World Junior Camp out in New Brunswick, and he said to me, he goes, "Well, Craig," he goes, "we'll never know when our paths cross again, and thanks for everything." And I wished him the best. Anyway, when I became the general manager in Calgary, Jarome phoned me and he said, "Our paths have crossed again." I'll never forget that.
Yeah, he remembered that. Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
It was a trade that worked out all right. Okay, so you had to trade obviously a talent like Jarome Iginla in order to land a talent like Nieuwendyk, and who was a key piece for you guys when the Stanley Cup in 1999 Stanley Cup final. It's the Stars and the Sabres. Who you had the punch connection there at one time, but in overtime, Game 6, Stars up 3-2 in the series. Brett Hull bangs in the winner. Tell us about that moment. What was that moment like for you?
Well, I mean, there was three of us up in the booth upstairs. It was Bob Gainey, Doug Armstrong, assistant general manager, myself, and the game was going along and going along. And Joe, there wasn't much being said, but there was a sense of calm. There was a sense of calm, and watching our team play, we knew we had a really strong team. Buffalo was a really competitive team, and they had Hasek. So they have this really
Right.
competitive team with this great goaltender. But there was just a sense of calm. And, it's through the course of the game, and then it's first overtime, second overtime. I remember James Patrick hit the crossbar off of a faceoff play. And, when you get to that deep in playoffs, or in overtime, excuse me, players are they're trying to come out on the ice. They're tired. But the first 15, 20 seconds of a shift after a faceoff is usually when you have the most energy at that point in time. So if you go back and watch Dominik Hasek and Eddie Belfour. They knew that, and they kept moving the puck. They knew they didn't want faceoffs because that is when the players had the most energy deep into an overtime session.
Right.
And James Patrick rang one off the crossbar off of a straight faceoff. And it was one of those ones where I don't think the three of us, Bob, Doug, or myself, even looked at each other. It was just like, okay, keep playing on. And, then we ultimately won. It was just like, wow, you can't believe it. And, I think one of the neatest things for me was we went down to Dallas and we had to build an entirely new staff off the ice and in every area of the ice. And people that cared about hockey, just like such wonderful people. Everybody was there. Everybody was in Buffalo. We flew up a plane from Dallas for everybody to be there, and everybody was part of it. And when I say everybody was part of it, the players knew how important all the different parts of the organization were, and everybody in the organization knew that they were that everybody viewed them as important. So to achieve that together, everybody. And, 6 short years after we had moved down to Dallas and trying to establish a presence down there and everything. And again, with such wonderful people that were so committed, it really was special. Obviously you win the Stanley Cup. It's special in and of itself, but with the people and the way it happened, it just added another silver lining to the silver lining.